take on the project and turn it into a house. And those windows will now be put in here. 86 bales of straw. Floor really strong when it comes to putting in a mezzanine, building a house using free or reclaimed materials. The roof will hopefully be thatched, breaking up pallets, starting on the floor. Welcome back to episode 3 of the Eco Build. So just to bring you up to date, in episode 1 and 2, I knocked down and started to rebuild an existing structure. That structure was a wooden frame in a friend's field. This project is to build something for either free or for very little money. These days, there are so many things you can find online for free. And for this project, I've managed to find a window, a sink, some wood, which I bought for a very good price. I've also got a wood stove, and just recently I've managed to find a load of pallets. So for the last few days I've been breaking down these pallets in order to turn them into useful wood, which are going to be turned into the floor. It's taken quite a long time to break the pallets down because they're all held together really tight and they're really strong. So I've had to use a hammer, a crowbar and a hacksaw. Right, with that being said, let's get back to the project. Hey, come on. Well folks, it's about 2 days later and I've almost finished laying the pallet wood flooring. It's taken such a long time. I've had them 4, 5, 6 deep on the roof at a time, driving a mile to get them, again for free. This project is about doing something for free, but I want to let you know about how frustrating it is taking apart pallets. Not every time, not every pallet you get is perfect, and not every piece of wood you manage to peel off is perfect. But the wastage is great because I can just burn that. Long story short, pallet wood breaking, especially when you've got about 80 pallets to break apart, is quite hard work. Anyway, have a look at this. And this is what we have. Pallet wood floor. Really strong. I might put some carpet around the outside of it and just keep the inner kind of circle bit, because that's a bit of a feature. I really like that. I really enjoyed doing this actually. It's taken a long time to do. It's just about finding the right angle, getting a good piece of wood with no nails in it, and then screwing it to it. Yeah, good solid floor. So once the floor is done, what I want to do is build some sort of outrigging platform using these as the legs. I'll cut these down to about there. I'm going to place them again on a burnt piece of oak on the ground, because that's going to stop the moisture, while it's going to reduce the rate at which the moisture absorbs into the wood and breaks the wood down. And then once it's cut down, I'll be building another platform going around. Now that's going to help with the straw bales. Remember, I'm building this house here. I'm using straw bales, and then I'm going to make a cob mix and apply it to the walls of the straw bales. I've also got some free windows, and I've also got a wood stove. But the wood stove needs a bit of high temperature paint. Something I've had for about 10 years in my shed on the shelf, gathering a bit of dust. This is what this project's all about. These things we have lying around the shed, those hundreds of screws and nails, those bits of wood, the old window, things like that, a bit of paint. Really useful for this budget project. High temperature paint. I'm going to sand back the wood stove, which I've already done that, but it did rain on it once overnight, so I've got to do that again. And then once I've given it another sanding, I'm going to be applying this to it, and that'll give it a good coating. I'll make sure it's nice and watertight and keep it out the rain for when I decide to put it indoors. And as this project is about getting something for free or for cheap to build a home, there's one more thing that I've purchased recently, and I'll be adding it to the list at the end of the episode. So I'm cooking up a bit of chicken with a bit of hazel that I've just cut down from the hazel woodland, just about 100 meters from here, and then I'm cooking it over this really old oak. I can't remember, I think they were 16 years old, this oak. And this oak is the oak that came from the roof frame. I took it, well, I deconstructed the roof frame about 3 weeks ago, and I've been using it ever since for cooking. No! I've screwed in about 700, maybe 900 screws. This is the drill bit, and what I do is I pre-drill it and then I screw it. And I've done all those screws and I've done all those holes. I've managed to break it with only 2 screws to go. Well, I think that's pretty good going. But now, how am I going to pre-drill it? I haven't got another drill bit with me. I'm going to risk it and just drill straight into the wood and hope it doesn't crack. That's pretty good. And the very last screw. And there we are, about 800 screws later, and we have a floor. Incredible. The seasoning, spot on. The slow cooking, the smokiness from the fire. It's lovely. Ah, so good. You know that's the best part right there. So that brings us to the end of the video. Bit of a short episode, this one. It just was a bit ongoing with the pallet stripping, sawing, screwing them down, nailing them down. A lot went into it, and I hope you can appreciate how much effort it took to put that floor down. Anyway, now we want to talk about how much I've spent on this project so far. So to begin with, I got some wood. I got some wood from a local farmer, and he sold it to me for £130. I got so much oak, it's really good quality, and it's going to come in really useful for the whole project. I also needed screws and bolts. They cost me £32. Windows. There are things that I needed for the project, that I do need for the project, like windows, a sink and wood stove, things like that. And it's all about finding something for free or for cheap online. People are throwing away so many things these days that it just made sense to try and do a project where I'm trying to get reclaimed materials to make a home for cheap. So I got windows, they were free. I also found a wood stove online. The chap wanted 50 for it, I offered him 30. He said, yeah, no problem, come on over. I drove over, I got the wood stove, gave him the £30, and yeah, happy days, we have a wood stove. And then I managed to find a sink online, a white enameled sink, and I went over and I picked it up, and that was free. So yeah, winner. Then, as you've just seen, I've been doing the floor. Everyone knows what a pallet is. Everyone knows you can get free pallets pretty much anywhere. People are throwing away, industrial estates, companies, factories, they're throwing away pallets. Pallets that have been damaged. Those are the pallets I've been to collect over the last few days. Whew, a bit smoky over here. And I've been stripping them down, and that's what I've used for the floor. Again, the pallets were free. Oh, speaking of pallets, if you have any pallet wood projects in mind that you want to see me do or build here, please let me know. And then there's something else I've been looking for, and it's been, well, either a metal chimney wood stove pipe, or, like I mentioned in the beginning of episode 1, I think, I mentioned how I wanted to find these clay, almost square, they look like drain sections, but they're really short. They're actually chimney sections. And that's what I found. I got 5 of them for £20. So that currently brings us to a grand total of £212. I still need to buy straw, clay. I'm not sure if there's going to be clay that I can dig here on the land. If not, I'll have to buy the clay in. I always need to buy in a bit of sand to mix in with the cob mix, the clay, straw, sand. And then I'm probably going to need a little bit more wood, I guess. And also thatch for the roof. Remember, I'm trying to do this for about £1,000, $1,200. It looks like there's about £800 left in the budget. What can I get for free? What do I need? Yeah, it's going to be a challenge, but I'm looking forward to it. So something else that I've been thinking about could be carpet. Lots of people are giving away carpet online. So it's one option. It depends how cold it gets in there during the winter months, but I might look at getting carpet, or at least putting carpet over some of the area. It would be a shame to cover up that lovely floor that I've made from the pallet wood, but I think installation on the floor is quite important. And then windows. I've got 3 windows. I'm not sure, I might need 1 or 2 more. So if I find any online, I'll see if I can get them for free or for cheap and bring them back here. Okay, so when it comes to it, the walls are going to be in place. So they're going to be straw baled walls. They're going to be pinned together with hazel. Hazel I'll get from that hazel woodland I went to earlier. So now all the walls are in place, I'm going to use a bit of chicken mesh or chicken wire. The sort of thing you'd have around a chicken coop. Why? Because, well, first of all, I've got about 25 meters of it at home in my shed. And I want to pin that to the outside of these straw bales. So that allows the cob mix, once it's made, to be applied, and it will then dry and grip to the chicken wire mesh. That's going to give me my straw baled walls. It's going to give me a thickness of, I don't know, maybe 4 inches of cob mix, give or take, I'm not too sure. And also I might use a bit of the cob mix to make a pizza oven. So speaking of cob mix, do you live in the UK? Are you available on the 27th of July? If you are, do you want to come and give me a hand? Because it's going to be 2 days of hard work. I'm opening this up to 2, 3, maybe 5 people watching this right now. If you're watching and you think this is you, get in touch via my Instagram at Bushcraft Tools. Send me a message and we'll try and get you down for the 27th of July. And also, I just want to say a big thank you to everyone watching, everyone that has commented or liked or shared the video in the past. All your comments, they kind of inspire me with ideas of what to do down here, whether it's to build a ladder or stairs, to put a round door in, a square door in, or even what to cook. Your comments are really appreciated. So whatever you do, please keep those comments coming. And just before we go, if you want to see me ride a horse, I've never done it before, then like the video or comment horse, something like that. And that is the end of the video. So thank you very much if you're still watching. If you haven't subscribed already, hit the red button, follow the progress, follow this build, be turned into a house, a livable house with a mezzanine, a thatched roof, cob walls, maybe a rainwater collection, a clay oven, maybe a pigeon. I'm gonna bring the air rifle down one day. I'll have a bit of pigeon for dinner. Who knows? If you haven't already, hit the red button. See you next week. Goodbye.